Hey there, welcome to the Solve Rational Equations assignment. Here in this video, I'm just going to go over the odd numbers of the assignment. Yeah, I want you to do the even numbers, so look at these numbers right here. And then there is this one as well, number 8, that you'll be responsible for doing on your own. So let's get started with number 1 here. Okay. Yeah, I see 4x on the bottom, I see 8x on the bottom. To make things easier, I'm going to minus this over there. Alright, and I need to change this to the least common denominator. So I'm going to take this, and I'm going to go 7 over 8x minus 3 over 4x. Now, 4 times what number is 8? 4 times 2. So I'm just going to multiply this by 2 over 2. And so it's going to turn into 7 over 8x minus 6 over 8x. So I just scaled it up so it would have the same denominator. So 7 minus 6 is 1, so this turns into 1 over 8x. Alright, so now I can bring down this 3 over 8 that I hadn't messed with yet. So 3 over 8 equals 1 over x. Now let's just cross multiply and divide. 8 times 1 is 8. 3 times 8x is 24x. Divide both sides by 24. 8 over 24 makes 1/3. And that's my answer. You can always double check your answer just to make sure it makes sense. If you plugged in 1/3 anywhere where there was an x, would you end up dividing by 0? No, you wouldn't. It doesn't happen often, but sometimes it happens. Okay, number 3. I just have a straight up proportion here. Just cross multiply and divide. What is, so let's just write it out rather than just do it all verbally. What's x times x? X squared. What's x times 7? 7x. What's 3 times x? 3x. What's 3 times 7? 21. What's 7x plus 3x? 10x. Alright, and then what's 15 times x plus 1? That's 15x plus 15. Alright, so get everything to one side. If you have an x squared, you have a quadratic equation, so just know you're going to have to factor. So if you're going to have to factor, everything needs to be on the same side. So minus 15x over x squared plus, let's say 10x minus 15x is negative 5x. And then 21 minus 15 is 6, so plus 6 equals 0. So what are your factors of 6 that add to negative 5? I know that negative 3 times negative 2 is positive 6, and negative 3 plus negative 2 is negative 5. So x minus 3 times x minus 2 equals 0. And then I am going to just set both of these equal to 0. So x minus 3 equals 0, x equals 3. 3. Just a regular 3. Erase that dot. Don't want you to think that's a negative or something. X minus 2 equals 0, x equals 2. These are my final answers. If you plugged in 2 or 3 in the bottom, would it ever equal 0? No, it wouldn't, so we're good. Moving on to number 5. Now, I made a mistake on number 5, so here's what it's supposed to say. And then let's solve it right now. Alright, so I have the same bottoms, the 2x minus 3's. So I just need to minus this fraction over there. And so it's going to say 2x plus 1 minus, and then it's a good idea to write it in parentheses, x plus 1, and all that's over 2x minus 3. Okay, so the reason why you want to put it in parentheses is so you remember to distribute the negative, because it's saying 2x minus x, and then it's saying 1 plus 1 minus 1, and so that's going to make 0. Over 2x minus 3. So 2x minus x is x. And then 1 minus 1 is 0, so it's saying x over 2x minus 3. All right, so that's what happens when you subtract that one over to the other side. Now let's just bring down this 3 over x equals 3 over x. All right, so now let's just cross multiply and solve it. What's x times x? X squared. What is 3 times 2x minus 3? Well, let's distribute. 6x minus 9 equals x squared. So I'm going to have to subtract 6x and add 9 to the other side, because anytime you see an x squared, you got to get everything to one side. So x squared minus 6x plus 9 equals 0. What are your factors of 9 that add to negative 6? That would be negative 3 and negative 3. They multiply to get positive 9 and add to get negative 6. So I am going to say, I'll just write it over here. X minus 3 squared equals 0. And so if x minus 3 equals 0, then x must equal 3. And can you plug in a 3 on the bottom of the fraction? Yeah, you can. So it works out. If at one point you get an answer and you're like, that's the answer, and then you say, oh no, wait, but it will make it equal 0, then the ultimate answer would just be like no solution, I guess. All right, number 7, last one. See this 4? I need it to have the same denominator as x minus 3. So I'm going to turn that into saying 4 times x minus 3 over x minus 3. Because what you put on the bottom, you have to put on the top. So it's going to say x plus 1 over x minus 3 plus that equals 2 over x. Now I'm going to distribute. So it says x plus 1 plus 4x minus 12 equals 2 over x. All this is over x minus 3. Okay, and combine like terms, we're going to have 5x minus 11 over x minus 3 equals 2 over x. Let's cross multiply. All right, and I get x times 5x minus 11 equals 2 times x minus 3. Distribute. Gets me 5x squared minus 11x equals 2x minus 6. Get everything to one side. Minus 2x over under that 11x, and then just plus 6 to nothing. And so it says 5x squared minus 13x plus 6 equals 0. So here we have a quadratic equation where a is not 1. So remember, you have to multiply that front number to the back. So what are your factors of 30 that add to negative 13? Well, 10 times 3 is 30, and if they're both negative, it's still 30, and then they add for negative 13. So I'm going to write x minus 10, x minus 3 equals 0, and you just have to divide out that front number now. So the 3 over 5, that 5 will swing up front. That 10 over 5, that'll make 2. X minus 2. 5x minus 3 equals 0. And so my two answers are going to be 2 and 3/5. How do I know that? X minus 2 equals 0. Well, x must equal 2. And then 5x minus 3 equals 0. I'm going to have to add 3 and divide by 5. So 5x equals 3, divide by 5, and you get x equals 3/5, like I said would happen. But yeah, so that's all the odds. So take this knowledge with you and work out all the evens now, okay? All right, thanks for watching. Bye.